Imagine you spend $10 million on a villa. You've seen the brochures, the crystal water, the palm tree shape visible from space, the Atlantis Hotel glowing gold at the end of the frond. You've done your research, you know this island. So you sign, you pay, you move in. And then, 6 months later, you notice a crack in the wall. Not a hairline crack, a crack that wasn't there when you arrived. You call a structural engineer. He comes, he looks at the crack, he looks at your foundations, and then he says something that changes everything. This building is not sitting on ground. It is sitting on sand. And the sand is moving. This is the part of the Palm Jumeirah story that the brochures never showed you. Not how it was built, not the GPS satellites and the mountains of dredged sand. What happens after? What happens to the ground beneath a luxury villa, 20 years after it was sprayed from the floor of the Gulf? What happens to the salt, to the steel, to the foundations, to the sea walls? And what happens when the sea, the same sea they moved to build this island, starts to come back? Palm Jumeirah is the most valuable piece of engineered land on Earth. Property prices rose nearly 19% in the first 5 months of 2025 alone. In November 2025, a single plot sold for 1.86 billion dirhams. That is over 500 million US dollars. For a piece of land that was under the sea in 2001. And maintenance costs for a waterfront villa here run significantly higher than any equivalent property on the Dubai mainland. Not because the villas are bigger, because of what the sea does to everything it touches. The island has been settling since the day it was built. All reclaimed land does. The question engineers have been debating for years is exactly how much and exactly how fast. The original designers projected around 25 millimeters of total settlement over 100 years. Slow, manageable, planned for. Not everyone agrees that figure is still accurate. And that disagreement, we'll get to it, is worth understanding carefully. At the same time, the sea level around the island is gradually rising. An island settling, a sea rising. The original designers built in a buffer for 50 centimeters of sea level rise. The worst-case climate scenario for the Gulf? 9 meters. This is the story of what happens to a dream, when physics, salt, time, and the sea all start asking to be paid back. To understand what is happening beneath Palm Jumeirah today, you have to go back to how it was built. We covered this in the first video, but there is one detail we need now. When the dredging ships sprayed 120 million cubic meters of sand into the Gulf, and when GPS satellites guided every frond into the precise position you can see from orbit, the engineers faced a problem that no amount of GPS could solve. Sand is not ground. Loose, waterlogged sand, the kind pulled from a seabed, does not behave like rock. Under load, under the weight of 20 years of luxury villas, it compresses, it shifts. It moves in ways that take sensitive instruments to measure. The engineers knew this. They used a process of vibrating the sand deep underground until the grains packed together tightly enough to build on. It worked. The island stands. The villas stand. But here is what that process cannot do. It cannot make sand perfectly uniform. Because the seabed beneath the Gulf is not uniform. Some sections were rock, some were soft silt, some were ancient coral. Some were the loosest possible loose seabed material. The sand sprayed on top of all of it settled differently in different places, compacted differently, responds differently to load. Which means that in 2026, when you ask a structural engineer to look at a Palm Jumeirah villa foundation, the first thing he will tell you is this. How much weight the ground can hold varies depending on where on the frond you happen to be sitting. Not the depth you drilled, not the grade of your concrete, not how much your villa cost. Where you are. This is why engineers working on this island will tell you that any significant foundation work requires a physical soil survey specific to that exact location. Not a general report, not a desktop study, a physical investigation of the ground specifically under your property. Because the ground here is unique, and uniquely unpredictable. The second force working against every villa on this island is one of the oldest and most patient forces in nature: salt. Palm Jumeirah sits in the Persian Gulf, a sea that is saltier than average, with evaporation rates far higher than its rainfall. The groundwater beneath these villas carries high concentrations of salt that slowly work their way into foundations from below. And every morning, the wind that crosses the water carries microscopic salt crystals with it. Those crystals land on your villa, on the render, on the window frames, on the steel fixings inside the concrete, on the sealant around every door and every balcony. And then they do what salt does. They find the smallest gap, a hairline crack you cannot see with the naked eye, and they get inside it. When the temperature rises during the day, the salt crystals expand. When it cools at night, they contract. Expand, contract, expand, contract. Every cycle widens the gap by a fraction of a millimeter. A fraction so small you would never notice it happening. Until one day the crack is visible, and the crack is structural. And the engineer is standing in your villa saying the word you never wanted to hear. And then there is the steel. Inside every concrete structure on this island, inside every wall, every column, every floor, runs a skeleton of steel bars. The thing that gives concrete its strength and stops it from snapping under pressure. Salt water and steel are enemies. When salt water makes its way through concrete and reaches the steel inside, the steel begins to corrode, to rust. And rust expands, up to 400% the volume of the original steel. That expansion pushes outward, against the concrete, from the inside. Chunks of the outer surface crack off, more steel gets exposed, the rust accelerates, the cracking accelerates. This is not a theoretical risk for Palm Jumeirah villas. This is the well-documented reality of coastal construction in the Gulf. It is why maintenance costs here are significantly higher than on the Dubai mainland. When contractors open up the walls of 15 to 20-year-old Palm Jumeirah villas, and many are that age now, they find waterproofing failures, corroded fixings, and structural concerns that were invisible behind the luxury finish. The brochure showed you the view. Nobody showed you what was inside the walls. Now, the question that gets the most attention. Is the island sinking? Here's the honest answer. All reclaimed land settles over time. That is a basic engineering fact. You build on loose, compacted sand, and over years and decades, the weight of everything sitting on top of it causes the ground to compress very slightly. The engineers who built Palm Jumeirah knew this, designed for it, and projected around 25 millimeters of total settlement over 100 years. In 2009, a surveyor presenting at a conference in Qatar claimed that satellite data showed the island settling at around 5 millimeters per year, much faster than projected. The story spread quickly. But the full picture is more complicated than the headline. First, the satellite company that actually carried out the study, Fugro NPA, immediately clarified that their findings had been taken out of context. Settlement is a normal occurrence following construction, they said. No conclusion can be drawn about the long term. Second, and this is the part most articles leave out, the measurement instruments used by those satellites had an accuracy range of plus or minus 50 millimeters. The claimed settlement was 5 millimeters. That is 1/10 of the measurement margin of error. Nikhil, the developer, pushed back firmly. They said that if the island had genuinely sunk 5 millimeters per year, you would see it in broken pipes, cracked windows, and structural damage across the island. Their engineers saw none of that. What is true, what no engineer disputes, is that the island has settled since it was built. That was expected. The debate is about how much and whether that rate is within the designed parameters. That debate has not been fully resolved. What has been studied separately and what is not in dispute is the long-term picture. The Gulf sea level has been rising at roughly 3 millimeters per year, consistent with global trends. The island's minimum elevation is 4 meters above the highest water level at high tide. In the middle range of climate projections for 2100, that buffer is enough. In the worst-case scenario, 9 meters of sea level rise, it is not. And so a formal engineering study published in an academic journal proposed something that has never appeared in any Dubai tourist brochure: that the protective rock barrier around the island's edge, the structure holding back the sea, should be assessed and potentially upgraded to meet stability requirements under future climate conditions. Not immediately, but the study used that word: should. The barrier that holds this island together was built to last. The question now being asked, quietly in engineering journals, is whether it was built to last long enough. None of this means Palm Jumeirah is failing. Let me be direct about that. The island stands. The villas stand. 80,000 people live here. Property prices in 2025 reached levels that would have seemed impossible when the first residents moved in. That same plot, 1.86 billion dirhams, over 500 million US dollars, for land that was under the sea in 2001. But there is a cost to living on this island that never appears in the price tag. It appears in the maintenance budget. Significantly higher than the Dubai mainland, every year, permanently. It appears in the structural inspections. Detailed soil surveys required for foundation work that most other Dubai communities never need to think about. It appears in the renovations. Contractors opening walls to find salt damage that the luxury finish was hiding. It appears in the long-term engineering questions about protective barriers and sea level buffers and settlement rates that are being raised in academic papers rather than property brochures. The people who built Palm Jumeirah were extraordinary engineers. They moved 120 million cubic meters of sand with GPS precision. They set world records. They built something that had never been attempted. They were also honest about the limits. The settlement was designed for, the salt was planned for, the sea level rise was factored in, to 50 centimeters. What nobody could fully plan for, because nobody could plan for it in 2001, was a world where the worst-case climate scenarios no longer feel extreme, where 9 meters of sea level rise sits at the edge of the scientific range rather than outside it, where the 50-centimeter buffer that seemed generous 20 years ago is now being looked at more carefully. There is something almost poetic about what Palm Jumeirah is facing. It was built by moving the ocean, ordering it back, telling it that this space, this precise set of GPS coordinates in the Gulf, now belong to human beings. And the ocean said, "All right, for now." Every force working against the villas on these fronds is the ocean making its response felt. Salt in the air, water in the concrete, sand compressing under weight, sea level creeping upward a few millimeters every year. Not fast enough to alarm anyone in any given year, fast enough to rewrite the engineering calculations over decades. The people who own villas on this island are not fools. They are among the wealthiest, most careful property buyers on Earth. They know what they bought. They also know something the brochure never said clearly enough. Owning property on Palm Jumeirah is not like owning property anywhere else. The ground beneath your feet was not always ground, and the sea around you has not forgotten that. Next week, we go inside a building that is not just settling. It is tilting. A 58-story luxury skyscraper in San Francisco, the most expensive city in the United States, that has sunk 18 inches and tilted 16 inches off vertical since it opened. And the legal battle, the most expensive construction dispute in American history, that nobody won. Subscribe to Titan Projects, and we will see you there. Titan Projects. We build the impossible.